Hey everybody, welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and we're about to do something I didn't think was going to be possible for a very long time, and that is fly a jet IFR on VATSIM. I'm really excited to do this, but first there's a couple things I want to get out of the way right off the bat. The first one is Discord. If you have any questions and you want a little bit more dialogue with a great community, the Discord link is in the description. There's real-world pilots, controllers, VATSIM controllers, Pilot Edge controllers, real-world ATP pilots, any manner of aviation expert in different categories is in that community. So click that link if you have any questions that are a little bit more involved than what can be done in the comment section below. So last night, my instructor and good friend Brad is actually a type-rated Citation pilot, and he's type-rated in this plane, not current, but he walked me through, it was like essentially a 3-hour lesson on this plane. So I wanted to, while it was still fresh, go through flying this plane IFR with ATC with an IFR flight plan. So it's not going to be an exhaustive tutorial on how to file, how to pick a flight plan, all that kind of stuff. I am a private pilot, but I am not an instrument-rated pilot yet. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into flying IFR that I'm just not equipped to display or talk about, really. I know just enough to get this plane from Lindbergh Field to Vegas, probably safely. Hopefully, we'll see. But I wanted to show off what VATSIM can do. It's a free ATC network. It has some limitations versus Pilot Edge. I prefer Pilot Edge, but I want to show what VATSIM can do as well. We do have some good ATC coverage right now. If you have any questions on the differences between the two, the best place to go would be the Discord, because it's a little bit more involved of a discussion than than a YouTube comment back and forth could bring. So with all that out of the way, I will try to link timestamps for different parts of this flight in the description. If you scroll down and don't see those, I wasn't able to figure that out. But I'm going to go over a lot of stuff here, and some of it you may not need to know, some of it you already know, so I just want to make sure that you know you can jump ahead to various phases of this flight, and hopefully I will do a good enough job of retaining the information that I was given last night by a type-rated pilot in this plane. This is the working title mod. I don't know offhand the update, but it is the end of November 2020. So it's still an early build, but it is very functional and very fun to fly. This is 2 cool airports as well. We're in the Southwest SoCal, Vegas, and on VATSIM. So, God, this plane looks awesome. But yeah, so I've got my flight plan picked. I'm on ForeFlight, and I, basically just a quick rundown on how I did this. I am very lazy when it comes to filing flight plans in the sim. Is I pick one of the top 2 options on the routes that are given. ForeFlight enables you to look at previous routes that have been filed for this. SkyVector does the same thing. Again, I'm not a jet IFR pilot, so the intricacies of certain routes and why you would pick a one route versus the other is beyond me, but I've had good success by just picking one of the suggested routes. So I took the suggested route and I filed the flight plan on VATSIM. We're Slant Lima. There's a bunch of things that are in the weeds that if you have questions on, again, the Discord is the best place to ask those questions. But I have it filed. We're on the ground. We're ready to start the plane, get our clearance, and get out of here. There's a cool method of doing this that this plane has that some jets do and some jets don't have, but it involves getting the clearance first. One thing that you have to remember on VATSIM is that it does not necessarily follow the real-world frequencies that you would use. So on the ground here at Lindbergh Field in San Diego, I would call up clearance and delivery. Clearance and delivery is not a position that is open right now, so I'm going to call up tower and get my clearance through tower. They have a consolidation that is not necessarily intuitive all the time, but it does start to make sense the more you do it when you're able to identify who's up on frequency and where you might want to call. So I'm going to get inside the plane here. We're over at Atlantic. This is just the default Lindbergh, San Diego. There's no add-on here. This is just what happens when you load up. So I'm going to open up Scratchpad here and open up a IFR craft checklist here. I am also going to turn on the battery. I do have the Logitech panel, so you might see some things happening that I'm not manipulating the 3D model for. So again, if you have any questions, just ask. And then I'm going to turn the avionics switch into dispatch mode. That turns on the PFD and the FMS, and that is what really all I need right now in order to get my clearance. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the ATIS, which is 34.8. I also do not have COM2 the way this thing is working right now, so I am going to be fudging the ATIS because I don't have the ability to go to a COM2 and check that in a separate on a separate channel.
27.
Okay, so here's the ATIS.
2 airmen. ATC system in use. Operate transponder with mode C on all taxiways and runways. Pre-cycle runway hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information uniform.
So I need...
Line for field data information uniform 190510. 1340 at 6. Visibility 8. Few clouds at 200. Ceiling 25,000 broken. Temperature 20. 2.11. Altimeter 3006. Landing runway 27 localizer.
Okay, so there's the ATIS. So I'm going to need that information later, but we're going to go LAS here and then get clearance. So I'm going to go over to tower, which is 18.3. 18.3. Sorry if you hear some frantic clicking. Julia is working right next to me. 18.3 is tower. And I did check with him that I will pick up clearance with him. So just going to be one frequency as we move along the ground here at Lindbergh here. Okay, so we have ATIS uniform. We're on with tower, and we have a flight plan filed. Let's get our clearance here. Lindbergh Tower, good morning. Citation 204 Lima Echo, information uniform IFR to Vegas.
Citation 204 Lima Echo, Lindbergh Tower, good morning. You are cleared to Las Vegas McCarran. Apologies to departure. Chicken transition that is filed. Climb via the SID, expect flight level 350 to final cruise altitude 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 119.6, squawk 5740.
5740. Now I didn't write down the clearance because it was basically what I had in there. We're cleared to Vegas via Padres 2 chicken transition, then as filed. Climb via SID, expect final cruise 350 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequencies on 19.6, squawking 5740, citation 204 Lima Echo. We have uniform parked over at Atlantic.
Citation 204 Lima Echo, readback is correct. Thanks for uniform. Give me a call when you're ready to taxi.
We'll do citation 4 Lima Echo. Thank you. Okay, cool. So that is our clearance.
40, once you're ready.
That is our clearance. So now we have some FMS stuff to set up here.
27,
so let's see if I remember how to do this. We're going to go over to Now I already forgot what we were doing. So I'm going to tune the I'm going to forget this if I don't do it right away. So 5740, hit the tune page and then go up to ATC 1, and that loads up the beacon code, and then turn on into TARA. I don't know what that means. That just turns on the transponder. I forgot to ask Brad what that actually meant. So then I'm going to go to flight plan, and we are at, oh, you know what? We have to tell it where we are. And I forgot how to do that. So I'm going to just pretend that we don't need to do that. There was one step that I am missing, but regardless, we will go to flight plan. And this is why I had that caveat that I don't know what I'm doing. Part of being a pilot is knowing what you're doing and what you're not, knowing what you don't know. And even though I am a pilot, I am a private pilot, I am not a type-rated jet pilot or an IFR-rated pilot.
Southwest 1840, contact departure.
We're going to put in just a
enjoy the family reunion.
fake little flight number right here.
Okay, and thanks for the interesting
So
experience.
there
here.
is that.
Take care.
And now we're going to go to departure, and we're going to go down to Padres 2. So there's Padres 2 right there. Chicken transition, it already loaded in there, and runways 27, that looks good, and then hit execute. So that's good right there. We're going to go back to departure and arrival. And we're going to go to approach. And then we are on the Myson, the CAPEX 6 Myson transition. So there's CAPEX 6 Myson, and let's see what the weathers are. What the weathers are. What the weather is at Vegas 090 at 6. So we might be landing on the ones, I guess. So we'll do ILS 1 left. That would be great to have that, and we will execute that guy. And then we're going to go to legs, and that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. Great. Activate lanes, Myson, chicken. Okay, so chicken and Myson, and then we're going to go to Sebi. We have that waypoint in there. We're going to do Sebi, add that. And then we also have Yala. Is that how that's? These GPS locations are so funny to try to pronounce if you're not familiar with them. Okay, so those are in there. That's good. We'll execute that. That's sweet. Okay, so now we're going to go to performance. Performance init. And we're going to need to look at what the fuel is. So I'm going to open up this fuel window right here. And I am going to set it to pounds because we don't need to know what gallons are. And 1,400 per side. That's a lot. 2,800. Let's see. What did I use before? I think it was like 1,300. But let's just go. Let's just give plenty of fuel. I'll make the math really easy and just say that we have 1,500 aside, so that's 3,000 total, and we've got passengers here. It looks like it's 4 passengers at 170 pounds. Max fuel, that's good. Empty weight is 10 total. Max takeoff weight 14.1. So this actually does it all for us, which is really nice. Cruise is 350, so I'm going to go 350 and load that into cruise altitude. Sense fuel is 3,000, so that's correct. Zero fuel weight is 10,080, so that's correct because it actually has... oh, you know what? Passenger weight is... We have 4 at 170. 4-170, so I'm going to load that up under passenger. And then we have 150 pounds worth of bags in the back, which I'm going to load that up in cargo. And it automatically ups the zero fuel weight, and that looks awesome. So now we're going to go over to takeoff. And because I had the winds written down here. We're at 340 at 6. So 340 at 6. And the temperature was 20, so I'm going to load that in, 20 into temperature. And we have 3006 as the pressure, so that's in there. Awesome. And it's dry slope, we don't need that. And then we're going to go to next, and it has our V speeds calculated for us. So anti-ice is off, takeoff flaps is 15, and our V1 speed, that's the speed that we actually rotate, is 96. V2 is 110, so flaps are going to come up at V2 plus 10, which is, we'll be looking at 120. This thing takes off like a rocket ship. Then we're going to send it to the PFD there, and that's going to finish there. That's complete. Okay. And let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything here. There's the direct to flight plan. Looks good. Departure, that looks good. Performance. I don't need to really worry about approach yet. We'll load that once we have information in cruise. Display, that's all good. We're fine there. MFD, that's fine. Data, okay. Cool. So I'm going to have the legs page on there. That looks good. Now let's get this thing started. So the first thing that we're going to do is make sure that the brake is on. Okay, brake is on. Everything's clear. And then we're going to start this thing up. This is the easiest startup procedure ever. Turn the beacon on. You can see the little beacon light turns on there. Open up this little guard. Hit run.
Attention all aircraft, Lindbergh Tower closing in 10 minutes.
And then right engine is going to start. So Lindbergh Tower is going to close here in 10 minutes. We need to get out of here. So we're going to wait for this engine to start up before we start the second engine. Otherwise, we're going to have some power issues, which I discovered. And then climb via SID. So while that is starting up, we're going to climb via SID. I'm going to open up the plate to check what that SID is. Looks like we have Gwyn is at or above 8,000. So I'm going to put that in there right away once we have the plane started up here. We'll get that right engine to stabilize. Kind of inside that building there. Sweet. So that looks like a pretty good start. We'll get that little cover shut there, open up the left side, and see if I did this too early. Nope. Good. So that's starting. These engines are FADEC, so there's no fuel stuff needed like in the older Citations, which is really nice. It is just pressing buttons, which is really, really nice. And now we can get the avionics, the full avionics coming on now. So that is good. We'll get altitude set to 8,000. That's our first little SID. We need to be at or above that. So I am going to not be at 20,000 feet. Like the faster you move that knob, the faster the altitude comes up. And then heading, our initial departure is 275, so I'm gonna get that going to 275. All while the engines are getting warmed up here. 275. 275 is initial there. And then I'm also going to do vertical speed, and the flight director should come on. Now this is the stuff that is way over my head with how this avionics system works versus the real world. That is about as much as we need. I'm going to get the vertical speed going up to about 3,000 as well. That's going to be our initial takeoff climb. So that looks good. That looks good. We are pretty much ready to go. I'm going to hit nav. We can have it in nav mode, ready to go right away. Beacon is on. We are good. Let's get some lights and let's get taxiing. Limburg Tower, citation 204 Lima Echo. We are Atlantic, ready to taxi.
Citation 204 Lima Echo, Limburg Tower, runway 27, taxi via Hotel Charlie, Charlie 1.
Hotel Charlie, Charlie 1, runway 27, citation 204 Lima Echo. All right, so now we're going to get takeoff flaps are coming in. The parking brake off, and let's start taxiing. So you can see when you have some handle of what the plane needs to just minimum fly the route. Really, all ATC is doing is giving you the appropriate approval to do what you know you already have to do. And once you are comfortable with what you have to do, it makes that approval from ATC less scary, less daunting, because I know ahead of time what I want to do and what ATC will either give me approval to do or ask me to do that differs from what I'm kind of expecting to do. And that all comes with practice, with preparation, and knowing what to expect. And that's a big part of what makes flying with ATC in a simulator so much fun, is that
Citation 204 Lima Echo, winds 3406, runway 7, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 27, citation 204 Lima Echo. So I'm going to hold short here and just prepare a little bit. There's a couple of things that I want to do before we actually rip on out of here. So I'm going to hold short here, and we're going to make sure that the flight...
Aircraft Limburg Tower and SoCal approach will be closing in 5 minutes.
Okay, so we need to get up out of here. And that is something that we'll get the pressurization going here, and the climate control set to normal, and then we're going to go heats. So that's a pitot heat over on the left here, and lights, and we're good. So heats, camera action. We don't have any ignitions on this. We are cleared to the left, we are cleared to the right, and we are ready to take off.
Entered runway 27.
So VATSIM, ATC is at the whim of whoever is providing the service. So you might not have guaranteed service in any given area, which is a big difference from Pilot Edge, where you know you have guaranteed coverage. And that is just a difference between the two of them. You obviously, VATSIM is free, and you have the ability to have the entire world potentially at your disposal. All right, there is V1. So we're going to rotate. The brakes. Whoa, this thing does not want to take off. Gear coming up. There's V2 plus a little bit, obviously, and let's get up to that flight director. I'm going to get up to that flight director. So we're climbing out, and I can just turn on autopilot, turn on yaw damper, and it's going to now head up to 8,000. Get the lights coming off. And there we go. We are out of Limburg.
204 Lima Echo, contact departure. Have a great flight.
Departure citation 204 Lima Echo. Thanks so much. See you. 19.6. I love that so much. 19.6 departure. Let's at least check in with SoCal. Let's get at least one little check in here. That was pretty efficient, I have to say. SoCal departure. Good morning. Citation 204 Lima Echo, 2,300, climbing on the Padres 2. Nope. Okay, I need to tweak that a little bit. There we go. SoCal departure, citation 204 Lima Echo, 3,000, climbing on the Padres 2.
Number 204 Lima Echo, SoCal departure, radar contact, climb via SID.
Climb via SID, citation 4 Lima Echo. So I'm going to pull out that plate. This is standard instrument departure. That's what a SID means. So I just need to follow this as long as we're at or above 8,000 by Gwin. will be looking good, and that's at or above. So we just need to make sure we're, again, at or above that. We could be above that. So I can look at what the next altitudes are. Like there's 16,000. That's the top of this.
SoCal will be back in 5 minutes.
So I'm going to move this up to 16. That is the top of this. Oh, top altitude, I should say, is 15,000, looks like. Again, this is kind of from a sim pilot perspective where we're not doing this perfectly. Where, you'd brief the plate, you'd understand everything. We're kind of doing this as we go, but knowing what you need to know, what you don't need to know is part of the experience of doing these flights, trial and error, what you're being yelled at for or not. And that just comes with doing it. So we need to be at or above 8,000 by Gwyn, and we are 13 miles from. Oh yeah, we're gonna be totally fine. Yeah, Hey, I am actually pretty proud of myself that I remembered how to do as much of this as I have so far. That is freaking awesome. All right. So SoCal's going to be back in 5 minutes, and we're set up right now. And once
SoCal's back.
Awesome. So that was a quick 5 minutes. Let's see, how's our performance looking good? Okay, so we're looking good. I love doing this. I love learning a plane from somebody that has real world experience in the plane, and then busting every regulation on the way up, because we are going 300 knots below 10,000 feet, but we won't tell anybody that. Probably no one would have noticed that if I hadn't said anything, but I would at least like to acknowledge that. The Sky Cops.
4 Lima Echo, LA Center offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved, slow.
Frequency change approved, Citation 204 Lima Echo, thanks. Okay, so again, part of VATSIM is we now are on our own, and SoCal, or LA Center is offline. We are going to, I'm going to keep my code, frequency changed is approved, so we are going to take a look at the map. Yeah, we're gonna keep going here and see what happens once we get to Vegas. So Vegas approach is still up. I'm looking at the map. I'm just going to show this to you really quick so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. Display capture. There you go. So I'm looking at the map here, and I can see Jeffrey here is Vegas approach, and we've got vPilot, which is the client for this, and you can see what frequencies are up in your area. So this is kind of the biggest difference functionally from a pilot's perspective between Pilot Edge and VATSIM.
SoCal approach is now closed. No further ATC online at this time. Monitor advisory frequency 122.8. Thanks for flight check.
22.8. We'll get that in there, and I'll show you what the difference is. So that's what I'd consult to find out what frequency I need to contact, and sometimes it's hit or miss. I've found with what frequency does actually work. With Pilot Edge, what you would do is at any given airport, you'd use the real world stuff. So I would go in here, look at info. There's clearance delivery. Here's all the frequencies. So you have SoCal frequencies. You got approach, you've got tower, all that stuff. You would call up that exact frequency, which makes it really easy when you're working on flying for the real world, in the real world, or you're kind of in in the flying environment and don't want to depart from that environment, if that makes any sense. We're gonna go up to 3.5. And what I mean by that is using the real material while you're flying. So obviously, to pull up that map, to pull up the client, pulls you out of the immersion of flying, flying a jet, flying IFR, which is not a bad thing. You just have to keep in mind that is the case. That's what you're essentially doing. I'm gonna get this. We're gonna go in flight change mode at 240 and get the power setting up to about 95 N1. That's gonna be my climb. Now this thing's gonna pitch up like crazy to capture that speed, which it's done to me before. So that is a really, and I'm kind of glad that happened, because it does show the difference between VATSIM and Pilot Edge. And I really, really don't want to get into which one's better. People like VATSIM, people like Pilot Edge, and they both have positives and negatives to them. And it's really just figuring out which one is tailored best for your needs. Pilot Edge does cost money, but if you're learning to fly in the real world, the training benefit will far outweigh the cost, because you're replacing that
Climbing
training
through transition altitude
in the real plane in the sim environment. And we're gonna be flying through clouds, and I guarantee you we're gonna get icing. So let's do wing anti-ice and engine only anti-ice. I bet you we're gonna ice up. I bet you. Windows are already starting to ice up a little bit. We're gonna go through this cloud layer, and it's gonna be icy. Whereas if you are, and not to say that you can't learn and get training benefits from VATSIM, there are fantastic controllers on VATSIM, but it's the environment that is guaranteed and something that you can replicate every time that really is helpful when you're a student first learning, and to not have to introduce the nuances of VATSIM in terms of ATC coming and going, the frequencies being a little bit different. It has a benefit, but it's got some caveats to that as well. The big benefit, obviously, is that you have the potential to have coverage at your local airport, which I believe Pilot Edge has picked a really, really good training environment in ZLA that has a number of different airspaces, number of different learning opportunities, that if you learn how to fly in Pilot Edge in ZLA, you will be able to fly pretty much anywhere, because it's difficult. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, kind of thing. But with VATSIM, yes, it's open to the entire world, but it may or may not be, you may not have coverage when you're choosing to fly. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But if you are in an area, or you're flying jets for fun, let's say that you've got this CJ4 and you want to go explore what Microsoft Flight Sim has to offer, this is awesome, because you can open up the map that I showed you and see who's on. I'm gonna actually show that. I'm gonna pull it up right now. So here's the map that we were just looking at, right? Let's zoom out and look at what's going on here. We've got Denver's open. Cool. Let's go fly to Denver. From Denver to, what else is open? Atlanta. Let's go Denver to Atlanta. So you can kind of, pick your flights if you don't really mind jumping around. Or, let's go to Orlando, or let's go up to Boston. You can zoom out and see who's open and go fly there. What I find I enjoy personally is being able to, one, replicate flights that I do in the real world. So ZLA, West Coast, helps with that. But I also enjoy the repetition of learning and mastering particular planes and airports and routes. So I don't mind doing John Wayne to San Jose a bunch of times. I kind of like that repetition, and it helps me learn a little bit better than jumping around. But the coolest part about Microsoft Flight Simulator is the world. You have the entire world at your disposal. You don't have to download orthos for it to look awesome. You have beautiful clouds, you have beautiful scenery, and being able to explore that, look at Catalina down there, being able to explore that kind of at will, without having to do too much setup before you head someplace. Like, hey, do I have ortho loaded here? Do I want to download ortho before I do this flight? You just do it. You just load the thing up and do it. And VATSIM enables you to check to see, oh, hey, somebody's, Denver approach is up. Cool. It gives you that flexibility. So that's a little bit of my thoughts between the differences between Pilotage and VATSIM. Again, I don't want this to get into a which one's better, which one's worse, because I have my favorite. Full disclosure, I prefer Pilotage. And if you've watched this channel before, if you've seen any of my videos, they're mostly all Pilotage, and it's just because I prefer Pilotage. I do like VATSIM though, and now that I've finally got it to work, I had issues with it on X-Plane for whatever reason. I have flown more on VATSIM than I ever did on X-Plane for those two reasons. It works, number one. I got it to work. And number two, I am more inclined to want to explore other parts of the country, other parts of the world in Microsoft Flight Sim versus X-Plane. So I'm more motivated to do that. Now, with this working title CJ4 mod and everything is pretty much working, I am really excited to explore even more on VATSIM with this plane in particular. This is a great plane for that hour, 2 hour little jet hop. And there's a lot of cool flying that can be done in that amount of time when you're going whatever it is, Mach 6, 7, or whatever. I can't remember what the cruise speed is on this. I think it's like 6.6 or something like that. I don't remember. Right up until the red line. I mean, that's basically what Brad has taught me, is just before the overspeed starts beeping at you. And look at this. So this is cool. This is something that I enjoy even in the real world. This is my flight track on 4Flight. And look at that. I mean, it's awesome when you have something planned and it's working and the plane is actually flying it. You can see it's kind of, we've got a little bit of a crosswind coming in there, so we're crabbing a little bit. But look at that. I mean, it is working, and we're going to hit a hard right here at Chicken. And let's see what happens here. And this is not great looking because we're right in the middle of a freaking cloud. But it's really cool when it comes together like that, and the plane just flies like it should. I really enjoy when that comes together. I'm doing a lot of things wrong. I know I'm doing a lot of things wrong here, and that's okay because it's all a learning process, and I have a community in the Discord that I can ask. If I have questions, obviously my good friend Brad is a type-rated pilot, so he's going to be very easy to ask questions. But I mean, look at. Actually, I don't want to show this because this is my personal Discord thing. I was going to pull up the Discord, but if you have Discord and you're watching this, click that link and give it a shot. Man, this turn at Chicken is really tight. Just give it a shot. I would love for you to just see the community and ask some questions, see if it's for you. I mean, we have over 1,100, almost 1,200 members, and like I said, it ranges from everybody from absolute beginners to flight simulation to ATP, commercial airline pilots, and real-world air traffic control, and everything in between. And they're all great. It's so much fun. Sharing screenshots of your simulator, showing real-world footage and pictures from flights, and asking technical questions, classroom questions, from how to build a PC to help run your sim better, to what plugins to add, to real-world material. It's just fantastic. I love it so much, and I every live stream that I do, every video that I do, I try to push it because I really do believe in it as a tool to help grow your aviation knowledge. It's really amazing to me. We're kind of losing speed a little bit. I'm gonna get this power coming up a little bit more. We don't have auto throttles, but you have to kind of keep an eye on the power settings so our climb speed doesn't go too slow. Because we're going up to 3.5, flight level 350, and we're up at 300 right now. So still got a ways to go. I'm surprised that we're still in the clouds. That's a big old cloud. I feel like we should be coming up to the tops of something at some point here. Right over Long Beach. And and this thing's climbing like crazy, and once we get going into cruise, we will have, we'll be getting into Vegas really quickly, and we'll have a 74 knot tailwind as well, which will really, really help. And then we should be able to call up Vegas approach, which I hope will still be on. Yep, looks like Vegas approach is still on, so hopefully that will remain the case. LAX ground, LAS approach is 350. Okay, so I'm going to get that in here ready to go. 350. So we'll get that ready to go. We still have the beacon code, and we'll check in. Once we get a little bit closer, I'll check in and get working on that SID a little bit. I would really, really like to get on the tops of these clouds. We don't have ATC here, so I can go up if I wanted to. We still have a nice little segment between Sebi and Yala before we hit Meissen and have to come back down, so we might be able to get away with. Yeah, we're coming to the tops right now. Those tops are about probably flight level 340. So let's go up to 370 and see if I can get above this cloud layer here, just to give us something a little bit different to look at besides nothing but white. But God, this sim looks so good. We didn't pick up as much icing as I thought we were going to. There's still a little bit on the wing. The tail is pretty iced. The tail heats don't work. Nose is a little bit chilly. Here we go. There's some blue. Okay, and now there is Sebi. So we got a little bit of a turn at Sebi. And then if we look down here at the legs page, we should see that, yeah, we are right over Sebi, and we've got 73 miles until we get to Yala, whatever. And I'm going to pull up the Meissen plate here. Or sorry, not the Meissen plate, the Capex Meissen transition. So I need to be at 13,000 at Capec. Meissen, I need to be at flight level 240. So 240 by Myson is the restriction on the SID here. I don't know if I'm going to need to contact them before I get there. It's possible. We'll see. It would be center, but we'll just be on the arrival. We'll police ourselves on the arrival and see what will happen here. There, that's looking better up above the clouds. What a big old cloud layer we have today. Again, sorry for that clicking noise. This noise is probably really loud because it's connected to the table. I can't figure out how or why it is so bumpy. There's no way to turn down the turbulence. It really shouldn't be this bumpy up here, but I don't know. It's not too bad. And that would be turbulence. Whoa, that's gonna get him sick in the back. Oh my god, that's really bumpy. Holy crap. Okay. Let's see if we can climb up out of this. We're not gonna be actually up here for very long. Let's see if it's any better at 390. Let's see. That was like super bumpy. What is actually Vegas showing for weather? Weather. Few at 17 and few at 25. So it is showing some clouds up here. I don't know what the tops are. This is just full-on overcast, it looks like. But okay, so while we're in cruise here, let's go to performance, and then we're going to go to approach, and I'm going to load up the weather that ForeFlight is telling us. Now, this is information that you can get from SkyVector. You can type in METAR, KLAS, or whatever your destination airport is, and get this weather information. So I'm going to go to weather, and winds are 080 at 7. So we're going to type in 080 at 7. Load that up in there. Air temperature is 20. So air temperature is 20 in there. There we go. Dry, good. Now let's go to next. It's going to give us our VREF speed, which is 101, and our approach speed, which is 107. So we're going to just look at around 100. Now we're going to be VREF plus 10, which, approach speed is roughly that. And that's going to be kind of the speed that we're aiming at. We don't want to get much slower than VREF plus 10. So that looks awesome. And we're going to send this to the MFD, and that's going to get loaded up. Send is complete. That looks good. And then I'm also, while we're here, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna go procedure here, and I am going to get set up for the approach 401 left, and we're gonna do vectors to final. I'm gonna load that up, and I'm gonna also show. We're gonna need this plate here, so show plate. This is again all available in SkyVector as well, and the frequency for the ILS is 110.1. So we'll get that loaded up. Minimums are 2460. We shouldn't have any issue with visibility or anything like that. Approach course is 014. That should load automatically. Missed approach, we're going to climb to 3000, then climbing right turn to 7000, direct the Boulder City VOR and hold. So that's fine. This is a flight sim. We are not going to go missed. I'm gonna put this thing down on the ground if it's the last thing I do. And God, I really apologize for how
Destination ATIS is 132.4.
how cloudy it is. I can definitely change the weather, but I don't want to. Also, I am not going to really worry about the descent, but we're gonna go down to 24, which is we're gonna start doing that now. Start our descent, and we're gonna be at flight level 240 by Meissen. So we're already on our descent down. Pretty quick little flight. Hopefully we'll get below this cloud layer at some point soon. We still have our heats on, which is good. And we're just gonna get rocked coming down through here. ATIS 32.4. So I really don't want to get the ATIS 32.4, but let's see if we can pick it up. 32.4. See if we have Super ATIS all the way out here.
1000. Your clouds at 25,000. Temperature 20. Dew point -5. Altimeter 3018. Visual approaches in use runways 1 left and 26 left. Landing runways 26 left, 1 left, and 1 right. Departing runways 1 right full length and 1 left at taxiway Bravo. Simultaneous approaches to crossing and parallel runways in use. Converging runway operations in effect. North to airmen. Runway 26 left, localizer frequency has changed. New frequency is 111.5. Old frequency is 111.75. Verify localizer frequency. ATC system in use. Activate transponder with mode C on all taxiways and runways. Read Michael runway hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information Zulu.
Zulu, okay. That's all I needed to know. Great. That was a long ATIS, but it came in nice and clear. So 35.0 is Vegas approach, and we're gonna expect 1 left, which we identified correctly with the winds. That's good. Let's check to see if Vegas approach is still up. Yep. And our approach is 35.0. Yep, that looks good too. Cool. Okay, so that all looks good. We're just going to monitor our arrival here. We're on our way down on the Meissen arrival. Sorry, Capex arrival. But yeah, but it's a Meissen transition. And I'm just gonna check the plate one more time on that. Or at least pull it up. Hopefully we can get the visual onto left, but Meissen is at flight level 240, CAPEC is at 13. So that is, we'll be at 13 for a while and then be descending on the arrival. And this thing does have VNAV, but I don't know if, I did not check if it was loaded up. The VNAV stuff was not something that seems to be working at the moment, and it does not look like it is. Okay. We tried to do that last night to get the, the speeds. It's not auto throttle, so it's not going to do the speeds, but the VNAV stuff is probably not going to work. That I guarantee will be something that will be fixed very soon. Okay, so we'll continue down. Kind of keeping one eye on where we're at on the map here to make sure we don't go into the Vegas approach airspace without contacting them first. And it looks like we've got visual contact of the ground, which is nice. Going to be a little bit high on the arrival through Meissen. I did not start that descent early enough. But the Sky Cops are not logged on right now, so that's okay. Nobody's going to yell at us, except for maybe somebody in the comments. Just please be nice to me. I'm trying. I am trying very hard. There we go. Now we've got some scenery to look at. Cool. What is that? What city is that? Is that Baker? I don't know what that is. Might be something along the 15, though. I don't know. Yeah, we are going over the 15 now. Oh yeah, there's a 15. So Baker should be somewhere around here. And we got closer than I thought once we hit Meissen. We're still a couple thousand feet ahead of where we want to be, but it's fine. So now we're going to go down to 13,000, and that's going to be for plate KPEC. 13,000 feet at KPEC. And I'm going to flip over to approach and kind of plan for the next step here. And hopefully I am in the system. And we'll be able to transition quickly here. Looks like the visual, we should be on the visual, which is nice. You know, approaches are hit or miss sometimes in the simulator. ILSs aren't lined up correctly, or you know, they just don't capture right. So the visual approach would be really nice to do, and just not have to worry about one extra thing would be good. Coming on down. Okay, so we are right now in between Meissen and Clar. Oh, and I take that back. It wasn't KPEC. It's Clar and KPEC are at 13,000, and we have 40 miles to descend 10,000 feet. And we are hauling ass to do that. What's our ground speed? 430. Yeah, we're hauling ass. That is awesome. We're out of cloud, so I can turn off these anti-ice things, get those coming off. And good. Okay. So visual, looks like the visual approach will be good. And I'll just have to manage the speed. Brad talked me through landing, and my landing was great, but I need to see if I can remember how to do it. That's the key. Clar, we need to be, so we're 31 miles out, and we're at 20,000. So this should be okay. We missed Meissen, but I think we'll be able to catch it for Clar, our altitude here on the arrival. But using these approach, these arrival plates, if you're trying to plan out, and you don't want to do the math on descending, your top of descent or whatever, pulling up an arrival, even if you're doing this not online with ATC, it's really helpful to load it into the FMS, and the plane will fly it, and you can manage the speed and the altitudes, assuming that the VNAV doesn't work. But it's really helpful to plan your descent into an airport without having to, again, do the mental math or something. Do not want to do mental math. I want it to be done for me. Okay, we should be getting pretty close.
Transition altitude.
Yeah.
Nearest altimeter, 3016.
3016. So we'll check in here. 3016. 3016. 016. Okay. And make sure that I'm on the right frequency. Nope. Click over one more. There we go. Here we go. Now we get voices. Las Vegas approach. Good morning. Citation 204 Lima Echo 6000 descending on the Capex 6.
Citation 204 Lima Echo Las Vegas approach. Descend on Capex 6 arrival. Las Vegas information Zulu current.
We have information Zulu. We will continue on the Capex 6 arrival. Citation 204 Lima Echo.
And Citation 204 Lima Echo, my bad. I actually forgot to radar identify you. Ident, please.
We will ident Citation 4 Lima Echo. So that's done on the client. So you have to go on to wherever your client is, tab out or whatever.
Citation 204 Lima Echo, radar contact 50 miles southwest of Las Vegas VOR. Altitude indicates 14,500.
Beautiful. That is us. Citation 4 Lima Echo. Thank you. Okay. That is awesome. It's when like this stuff I still geek out when it works. You know, I'm like, hey, holy crap, I did it right. The guy is there and he told me a thing and we're doing the thing. We're going to descend via the arrival, which is easy enough to do. KPAC. So I'm just going to keep an eye on these altitudes for each segment here. So Skiber and Crudy and Trey, those are all going to be at 13,000, I believe. Or are we missing something? Myson, Clar, KPAC. Yeah, I think we're missing some here on these legs, but it could be all right. We'll see. We might have to apologize at some point here, but we're at our altitude now, so that's good. And yeah, so KPAC is coming up.
Citation 4 Lima Echo, I'd like to give you a shortcut. Turn right heading 020, descend maintain 10,000 vector visual runway 1 right approach.
020 down to, was that 10,000 Citation 4 Lima Echo?
Affirm, and actually I'm going to give you a visual runway 1 left approach since you're going to be probably parking at the FBO on the west side.
Affirmative, we'll take the visual for 1 left, Citation 4 Lima Echo 010 down to 10,000.
020 please.
020 Citation 4 Lima Echo, thanks. And that's actually what I put in there. Okay, so cool. So now we're just going to go into heading mode, and we're going to go into vertical speed, and we're going to get down to 10,000. So that is, well, I have something to say about that. So this is, again, the great part about flying with ATC is that you get those interactions that can and will happen when you fly in the real world. But because we're given a shortcut, we're planning ahead to do the arrival, we're planning ahead to do the ILS. We'll take all day long shortcuts and easier arrivals, and this is a great example of ATC basically helping us out, which is cool. And in the simulator environment, sometimes that's not always the best thing for learning.
Station 4 Lima Echo, descend maintain 7,500.
Down to 7,500, Citation 4 Lima Echo. And Pilot Edge does that a lot, where they don't give you shortcuts because they don't want to make it easier, because it is more of a training network environment.
493 at Delta, cross right 26 right, hold short runway 1
But this is great because this kind of throws us off, but it might end up being a little bit easier for us. So. We're gonna start bringing the power back as well, and start slowing down for this.
Good afternoon, arrival at Gamma 165, 16.5, descending 8,000, Sunset 4. We have Zulu planning the visual 01 left.
Citation 4 Lima Echo, turn right heading 055.
Right 055, Citation 4 Lima Echo.
And last other aircraft, Gamma, say again your call sign.
Gamma 165.
Gamma 165, Las Vegas approach, squawk 2252.
055, he's going to vector us around these mountains here.
Alright, 2252.
Which is awesome. Don't want to run into that.
165.
Okay, and there's Vegas off in the distance.
Gamma 165, radar contact 35 miles west of the Las Vegas VOR. Turn right heading 180, descend maintain 10,000, vector visual, runway 1 left approach.
Alright, 180 on the heading down to 10,000,
Cool.
check the marks, Gamma
So you can see this right now. We have the extended center line because we have the ILS in there.
One right, ready for departure.
So you can see how he's setting us up. He's just vectoring us for that
Southwest 493, runway 1 right, full length.
straight in
Line up
visual
point.
approach, which is
Line
excellent.
up and wait, one right, Southwest 493.
Oh yeah, it looks so great. It looks so great. Let's look outside. I haven't looked outside in a while. Oh yeah. So cool looking.
Southwest 493, wind 0807, runway 1 right, full length, clear for takeoff.
One right, full length, clear for takeoff, Southwest 493.
We're going to get one more vector probably.
Las Vegas approaching at 2363, request clearance to Denver.
2363, Las Vegas departure clearance, request standby, expect PDC.
Hey, roger back, expect PDC 20.
Trying to see if we can get visual here. 1975. So he's right now probably looking to make sure that we're going to get vectored correctly here. But I want to be able to call the field in sight as soon as I can, which is going to help him. And I kind of see, I think, where the airport is, but a little vector, final vector would be helpful too. Yeah. All right, so we should be getting that vector probably
Citation 4 Lima Echo, descend maintain 7,000.
down to 7,000. Citation 4 Lima Echo. It's a nice little 500-foot descent. Can I call the airport in sight? Yes, I can call the airport in sight.
Southwest 493, radar contact, altitude indicates 4,600, climb maintain flight level 190.
So I finally got it in sight.
Southwest 493.
Citation 4 Lima Echo, turn left heading 010 on the rollout airport at your 12 o'clock 15 miles, report inside.
010, we've got the airport in sight. Citation 4 Lima Echo.
Citation 4 Lima Echo, clear visual approach, runway 1 left.
Cleared visual 1 left. Citation 4 Lima Echo. Okay, so we're cleared for the approach, which just means, you know, we're cleared.
Gamma 165, turn left heading 090.
Cleared to land, essentially. So we're going to turn off the autopilot. Not cleared to land, but we're clear to do what we need to land. Is what I meant. So there's the airport, and we, you know, we're visual. There's some airports now. I didn't check, This very well could be the case for Vegas, but there are a number of airports that will have an actual visual approach plate. This is still technically an IFR approach. It's just the visual approach. And there are some particulars on some airports for that visual that includes...
Citation 4 Lima Echo, wind 080 at 7, runway 1 left, clear to land.
Clear to land 1 left, Citation 204 Lima Echo. So there's our landing clearance, so we're going to get the lights coming on that we're cleared.
Gamma 165,
you know, there might be some constraints on speed and altitude and heading for a visual approach that are particular to an airport. Boeing Field is one that I can think of off the top of my head. I believe Van Nuys might have one of the.
Southwest 493.
There's a SoCal one.
Service terminated, frequency change.
San Diego Lindbergh, where we took off from, actually, I think is one as well. So just be aware that even though they say visual approach, that there might be some material that you have to consult. But for this, we're just going to just go visually. So now we're going to get the first notch of flaps are coming in there. I think that may be a little bit fast for the flaps.
Are you squawking mode Charlie? I'm also using a new radar client, so that could be it too.
It's a little high. I have the ILS plugged in there, so I just turned the ILS on, and that's going to help me with my guidance localizer, as well as
not a problem. If,
glide slope.
If this is not working for you, we can direct COD. No.
No, it's fine. You can fly your present heading.
All right, check the mark.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the gear coming down. Brad's yelling at me right now for not doing this correctly in a number of ways, but again, this is just after one night of some instruction from him. I think I'm doing okay. I don't want to be too fast here. The cool thing also about the CJ4 is that it actually has an angle of attack that's a little bit nose up versus like the Coronado S2, which is kind of cool. It makes me feel like, you know, like a big jet coming in here with an angle of attack like that, which is great. And I need the little green dot on the AOA indicator to be lit up. Would be great. And we're gonna just fly it to the touchdown point, is what Brad would say. Okay, so we got lights are on, speeds are looking okay, flaps are at approach right now. We've got one more notch of flaps to do once we get a little bit closer. I'm gonna hit them right now. So there's full flaps. We're at VREF plus 10 right now. I don't want to slow it down now. I gotta push the power up a little bit since we just introduced full flaps right there. That's a screenshot for sure. And keep the power in. Do not want to get too slow here. And try my best to get centerline, but no promises.
2 mile final, runway 01 left.
2 mile final, we are cleared to land for 1 left. And there's still VREF plus 10. So that looks good. Looking very nice. I'm gonna really try to land this thing nicely. A little bit left of the localizer, which I can kind of see, but also a little high.
.500.
Yaw damper is going to come off. 500 feet. Trim it a little bit more, trim it a little bit more, trim it a little bit more. Don't want to get too slow.
Alright, well, Gamma 165, we'd like that turn now, please.
Gamma 165, turn left heading 010.
Still off of centerline. I'm shading a little bit to the right in this plane, seems like. Okay, I'm going to aim 500 feet in front of the touchdown zone. And then just fly it right to the touchdown zone. Fly down. Trailing link landing
Gamma
gear.
165, descend, maintain
Not on
7000.
center line. I apologize, everybody.
7000, Gamma 165.
Let it's floating a little bit. Get down. Get down. There we go. That was even better than last night. All right, and wonky rudder action. Is the nose still up? Holy shit! I think the nose was still up. Okay, there we go. We'll just let it come down. Okay. Well, that was not too bad. How about that, Vegas? God, I wish we had replay. I would
Gamma 165, descend,
love
maintain
to see
6000.
that.
6000 now, Gamma 165.
That is too cool. Vegas in the background. I did not hit the speed brakes, and I did not go
Gamma
hard.
165, airport 12 o'clock.
I did
45
not
miles,
hit the
report time.
brakes hard, so
Sorry, just jumped on you.
I
We
probably
gotta
let it
Gamma
roll a
165.
little bit too much.
Gamma 165, you said you do have the airport.
Oh, look at that. That is so cool. There's a
We
freaking
stepped on
strip.
you when you called us. We do have the field inside for Gamma 165.
Awesome, Gamma 165.
Okay, flaps coming up.
Approach runway 1 left.
Strobes
left
coming
side,
off.
please.
Pitot heat's coming off.
Alright, clear the visual 1 left, Gamma 165. Thank you.
Citation 4 Lima Echo, welcome Las Vegas. Taxi back to the FBO via hotel this frequency.
Hotel will stay with you. Citation 204 Lima Echo. Thank you very much. So we're going to go straight ahead here. How cool was that? So we got kind of like a really good representation of what VATSIM is. We got clearance out of Lindbergh. We got handed off to SoCal Approach. SoCal Approach closed. We went basically pilot controlled through LA Center's airspace. We picked up Las Vegas Approach. Las Vegas Approach gave us some great vectors to the visual approach for 1 left. We got cleared to land, landed, taxi instructions, and that's kind of where it differs, where on Pilot Edge we'd be passed off to the tower frequency and then the ground frequency, even if it was the same guy or gal. With VATSIM, we're staying on the same frequency and heading, getting everything done with one frequency, which is totally fine. It's just a caveat and something to keep in mind, considering this as a training tool. You get the training benefit of the interaction, what's said, what the correct calls are, situationally, it's pretty good, but we're not using the correct frequencies. So
1 right, taxi to Bravo Delta, hold short, 26
like I said,
right,
the biggest
United
difference
2363.
between using Pilot Edge and using VATSIM is the guaranteed coverage, and I think we lucked out, and I picked this area because I knew that ATC was actually logged on, so that did help make sure that we had coverage. But it may not always go this well. It could go better. SoCal Approach could have stayed on. LA Center, we could have had LA Center on, so it could have been more coverage, but it also could have been less coverage as well. So that's one of the things that I do prefer about Pilot Edge. I had fun doing this. This was great, and that is important to remember that this is a free service, so it's going to have some constraints from that regard. But I had a blast doing this, and I had a blast coming back to this CJ4 after some instruction on it. I hope I helped somebody out there identify, maybe some help on the CJ4, maybe some help with how to manage a flight on VATSIM, and just some of my unsolicited thoughts on the two networks. This is super fun, and I said at the beginning, and I hounded it. Hounded on every single stream. Join the Discord. Give it a shot. I think you'll really enjoy the community aspect of it, the learning aspect, from both the simulator perspective and real world stuff. So this is all really, really cool. I am actually very proud of myself that I was able to make this flight happen after just going over this once. But we'll get these engines shut down and call that a successful San Diego Vegas VATSIM flight. Oh, do they both shut down? I think they both shut down. How come you're still on? There it goes. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, comment below if you have any questions. Join the Discord if you have any longer questions. You know, just let me know what you thought of this. Let me know what your opinions are on VATSIM. Let me know what your opinions are on Pilot Edge, for that matter, as well. And the CJ working title mod is excellent, and I am going to get a lot of great use out of this plane. So thank you guys for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and hopefully live. The Twitch link is below as well. Thank you guys, and see ya!